Hello, my name is Latoya Banks, and I'm doing my paper, Psychological Disorders 2. There are at least 3 questions that I'm going to answer and talk about. The first one is, how has your beliefs, ethnicity, race, religion, etc., affected your views of the world? Well, this is how mine was affected. Because of my religion and my family beliefs, I view the world as a place that I should treat everyone else as I wanted to be treated. And most of that came through the learning theory perspective. I was taught things basically through my family, observational learning things around me. In relationships with people, I tended to have a mental set, and it's like my mind would tell me to do something the same way. So I would try that same approach because it worked the first time, to see if it would happen and work for the next scenario with the next person. However, it began to cause problems because I tried that same approach with different people, which caused us to get into it because they were different. And I would think, because of me seeing something familiar, that person, I could use that same situation, even though it's not quite the same, or the same scenario, which caused a problem because I treated them or did the same, which I would have thought was the solution, with the next person, and it caused a bad reaction. So the next question would be, how have you coped with differences and similarities? Well, I usually stuck to what I knew, and I tended not to try anything new or if it was unfamiliar to me. That was my safety way, to keep myself safe. Over time, using the social cognitive theory, I was able to see the differences in people and some similarities in people. Everybody's different. I know that because of the learning theory perspective, I've made bad decisions in men because I was in a mental set. And once I began to apply the social cognitive theory to my life, I could much more clearly see them for who they were than before. But like I said, learning from my family, the morals that I learned caused me to see things one way. And I kept repeatedly trying to force those ways upon a new person, or meet that person and see something similar from the last person. So I used the same scenario with that person, and it caused fallouts. In the same token, when I start to, like it was saying, see things differently, that's when I could see people for what they were, and it was too late then, which was with the baby's fathers. It's another question on here too that say, what type of psychological challenges have you experienced as a result of this? Well, for a brief time period, I slipped into depression. And it also brought anxiety along with it. I started to hate the world because I was taught differently by my parents than what was going on in the world. It was different. I didn't fit in. So the time they raised me for, and the society they raised me for, I didn't fit in because it was like I was an alien on this earth. It was different for me. It wasn't nobody the way they raised me to be. The morals, the teachings that they taught me, and they brought me up in church also. I had to change my mindset, my mental set, in order to come out of depression and to be able to succeed and not be played or taken advantage of anymore. So, what are some incorrect assumptions people have made about me? People have assumed that I was mean because of my facial expressions. I've also had people assume that I was crazy because of how nice I was. I was stupid because I would let people get over on me and still try with them because we're supposed to forgive people. And I was irresponsible because I had a playful spirit. So most of them assumptions came from people who didn't know me, or the people that did know me who couldn't control me, take control of my mind and make me act the way they wanted me to act. So they would spread bad rumors about me and talk about me. Okay. And you have made assumptions about others. Yes, I have. I assumed that my children's fathers were good people and that we could work together to raise our children. Instead, I found out over time that one of my children's fathers have mental health issues. And it showed not just in him, but in his children. They follow behind him. It was the same attitude, the same personality, it seems, as if they repeated. He displayed rage, horrible anger levels, and habitual lying about anything. My two oldest children did the same as they got older. And I've seen this distributed in them over the years. I didn't understand with my first, but with my second, it showed up very vividly. And now I understand, going through this class, psychology, that things are heritable. I can't say the word right. Hereditable. They has a heritability. And I believe they inherited these personalities and its mental health. Even the genetics, the way my oldest son he favors his father a lot. And when you look at the DNA testing, he has a lot of things just like him, genes. It's just the personality, the way he act, even down to their intelligence. When they took the IQs, the way that they test is a representation of their father. In response to the rioting occurring across the country, what type of thoughts, emotions, fears, and anxieties, if any, are you or people you know experiencing? I'm emotional to how many our children, are dying at the hands of police officers. I feel that the early solution to the problem of our children getting in trouble, it isn't to shoot the kids. It's to figure out what the underlying problem is. Well, we have a lot of things that contribute to our children ending up in a criminal situation. For one is they took the discipline from out of the parents' hands and won't allow us to discipline our children. The other is mental health. They defunded mental health, so it's not much out there to help with any mental health for the children or for the adults for most parts to get us treated. And I guess they're not willing to figure out and do a check and take the situation serious enough to look into it and find out what the underlying problem is so they can come up with a solution to fix this issue permanently. The authorities are rather basically get rid of the kid. Or the problem happened, and once the problem that happened is over with, which is basically like my folks used to say, slam the gate after the horse is already out of the gate. It's too late now. But that's my feelings on it, and I wish that they'll do something to fix this because we're losing our young people. I've learned a lot in this psychology class, and I appreciate it.